gentlemen, welcome once again to the semi-final round of the debater. Last week we did see Lyceum International School Nugegota proceeding towards the grand finale, and today we're ready to find out which one of our two semi-finalists will proceed on to the grand finale. And the topic that will be discussed here today is of national importance. It's concerning both you and I. It's a heated topic, a sensitive one. We're ready to give a chance to both our semi-finalists to look at this topic objectively, to air out their opinions, because what they're discussing here today is their future. And the topic that will be battled here today is whether or not the 13th Amendment should be abolished. It has a proposition that has always been able to display a rather disciplined style of debate. There have always been direct qualifiers in all the past rounds of the debater. A school that has shown to us a tremendously high school spirit. Introducing to you our proposition for today, Ananda College, Colombo. We have it as an opposition today that has been an SMS qualifier once when they've eliminated from round one. But afterwards, this particular school has been able to show tremendous improvement in their style of debate, the tactics they use, as well as their arguments. Introducing to you our opposition for today, Kingswood College, Kandy. Without further ado, let me introduce to you our eminent panel of judges here with us to deliver the judgment of the semi-final round of the debater. We're pleased to have with us Professor Pratibha Mahanamaheva. He is the Dean for Law for the Kothalawala Defence University, and he is currently the Human Rights Commissioner for Sri Lanka. We also have with us Dr. Vinya Arya Ratna. He is currently the General Secretary of the Sarvodaya Movement, while being a medical doctor specializing in community medicine. We also have with us Dr. Anusha Chandasiri. She is an attorney at law in profession while being a senior lecturer at the law faculty. We're about to begin the first round of the semi-finals, the opening statements, a chance for both the proposition and the opposition to establish their arguments. Proposition, the floor is now yours.
Fellow citizens of my beloved motherland, we are in the process of recovering from a 30-year-old war that plagued our paradise. Team Ananda believes that the main reason behind this catastrophe was the lack of meaningful devolution of power, the lack of representation, and the oppression of the minorities. Therefore, we strive to achieve our vision of bringing governance closer to the people by abolishing the 13th Amendment. It's now or never. The primary burden that Team Ananda has to prove in order to win this debate is to show to the House that the 13th Amendment should be abolished and it should be replaced with a more devolved structure, with more devolution of power that goes beyond the 13th Amendment, since the 13th Amendment is structurally flawed beyond repair. What is meaningful devolution? In one word, it is autonomy. It is where these devolved units can take decisions that can affect their regions independently while sharing power with the center. The 13th Amendment was brought up to bring about meaningful devolution, but quite ironically, it fails to achieve its objective, and hence it must be abolished. It's not only Team Ananda who says this. According to the judgment given in Re the 13th Amendment, it says that the 13th Amendment is mere decentralization and not devolution of power. And why do I say so? The fundamental flaw in the 13th Amendment. According to Article 154(b)(2), the provincial governor who holds power over appointing the chief provincial minister as well as the board of provincial ministers is appointed by the executive president, who only needs 51% of the votes in Sri Lanka. And the provincial governor shall hold office as long as he acts according to the whims and fancies of the president. So this is discrimination at its best. And if you want to prevent an ethnic conflict from happening again, you will definitely side with Team Ananda. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, the 13th Amendment should not be abolished. Abolish is to officially end a law, a system or an institution, according to Oxford Advanced Learners Dictionary. Before we move forward, let us understand certain basics. Number 1, any solution presented should have the common goal of achieving sustainable peace and sustainable development for Sri Lanka. And number 2, for any solution to work, it should be practical as properly implemented. Now, with these two factors in mind, let us understand why the 13th Amendment should not be abolished. Number 1, the 13th Amendment, brought forth in 1987, contains key democratic elements that is aimed at proper power devolution and development. These elements can be empowered and improved upon to bring a long-lasting solution and enhance development in Sri Lanka. This statement we make, backed by numerous researchers, recommendations, analyses, as pointed out in our reference material. To name a few, number 1, negotiating peace in Sri Lanka, efforts, failures and lessons by International Alert of London, UK. Number 2, financial relations in systems of devolution and decentralization by Maga Institute. And number 3, ethical dilemmas of development in Asia by Godfrey Gunatilaka and Ilan Tiruchelvam. And many more, which I don't have time to mention. All of which point towards utilizing the recommendations and improving the 13th Amendment to achieve a long-lasting solution. Over 15 years of research, ladies and gentlemen, which we can utilize and implement. So, I would like to ask you, where is the need for extreme measures such as abolishing the 13th Amendment when we can improve and utilize what we have at the moment? And main point number 2, ladies and gentlemen, we have to understand any new solution after abolishing the 13th Amendment needs fresh implementation, thus human resource for training, new infrastructure, acculturation of the public. It may even have functional problems that we are not aware of, unlike the 13th Amendment. So, let us not be too idealistic. I implore you to be practical as well as generous in your ideals. Keep your eyes on the stars, yes, but remember to keep your feet on the ground as we move forward in this debate. The common goal here is sustainable peace and development, and we can definitely achieve it by improving the 13th Amendment. So why go for the extreme measure of abolishing it? Thank you.
With the conclusion of the opening statements, both the proposition and the opposition have laid down their foundations quite clearly, if I would say. We're ready to move on to round 2, where one selected speaker from each team would face off the points of information directed to him by 2 other members of the other team. Proposition will commence the answering of the POIs, while the opposition will direct the POIs towards selected member from the proposition. Opposition, proposition, the floor is now yours.
Ladies and gentlemen, the opposition came up here and they said that they want to improve the system. On first level of analysis, the mere fact that they want to improve the system proves us that they are agreeing that there are so many flaws in the system. So firstly they are agreeing with us principally. On a second level of analysis, we said there are so many flaws in the 13th Amendment. So if you amend it to such an extent, if you improve it to such an extent, it would no longer be the 13th Amendment. And that's why we believe abolishing it is the only solution. Yes, sir.
So then, are you saying that the 13th Amendment is totally inefficient, sir? Yes or no?
Sir, yes, we see the 13th Amendment is so much structurally flawed. We see these provincial councils have no autonomy at all. And that is exactly why we need to abolish the 13th Amendment. Yes, sir.
So then what about the improvement that the provincial council system has brought forward to this country, sir? We have so much examples. Take Wayamba Provincial Council, sir.
Sir, these provincial councils might have done something, but we say that it has not achieved its objective. The rationale behind the origin of the 13th Amendment was to devolve power to these provincial councils, but we don't see any devolution of power at all. We have given you examples that the governor is actually controlling everything, who is a mere representative of the executive president. So where is devolution? Yes, sir.
Every system has its flaws, sir. Yes or no?
Sir, I do agree that every system has its flaws, but we believe the 13th Amendment has not achieved its objective, the prime objective, which was to devolve power. And that's why we believe having it in existence is inherently harmful, and abolishing is the only solution. Yes, sir.
Sir, reason for that inefficiency is because we were in a crucial situation. We were at a war. So what we should do here at present, we are at a post-war situation. We should improve this, sir.
So I've already answered your question and showed to the House why improving is impractical at the moment. And we say the problem was not only with execution. We showed you that it is inherently structurally flawed, and that is exactly why we need to abolish it. Improvement is not an option. Yes, sir.
What are your crucial situations to say that improvement is not an option, sir?
So I've already answered your question saying that improvement is out of the way. Yes, sir.
Sir, to abolish the 13th Amendment, you need 2/3 of the majority of the Parliament. But to improve the system, you need only a simple majority, sir. So how come it is impractical, sir?
So today we are having a principle-based debate. Our bird is not to actually run into the nitty-gritties of mechanisms of whether and how you are going to do this, but rather we are debating on a principle basis on whether it is a good idea to abolish this system or not. And we have proven to the House already that these provincial councils have no autonomy at all when it comes to land, when it comes to police powers, and when it comes to security, and when it comes to financial sector as well. Because according to Article 154(3) of the 13th Amendment, it says that the governor is completely in control of the provincial budget and provincial funding. So we don't see how these provincial councils have any kind of autonomy at all. We see it's the central government who's controlling everything. So that's why we see the objectives of the 13th achievements are not achieved. Hence, we believe it should be abolished. Yes, sir.
Through the improvements we are proposing, the interference of the government is reduced. So would that be an answer to your question, sir?
Sir, we are giving you a better solution. We already told you that improvement is not a solution. So, sir, could you ask new questions, please, sir?
Sir, are you saying going for an extreme step like that would solve all the questions in Sri Lanka, given the present context of Sri Lanka being in a post-war situation, sir?
So we are not going for an extreme stance. We are saying we are going for meaningful devolution, which is actually running really well around the world, and we believe that it's time that Sri Lanka embrace the meaningful form of devolution which would actually make this country better. And that is why we have already proven to the House why the 13th Amendment should be abolished and replaced with meaningful devolution which goes beyond the 13th Amendment, and that is why side proposition believes we should bring governance closer to the people.